Hi friends, welcome. My name's Jess. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a relationship coach. I work a lot in the space of estrangement and I have a very difficult family that I am distanced from myself. And this video is inspired actually as a response to a comment that I've had from one of you dear listeners. This is from Jillian. So I'm going to read Jillian's comment and then I'm going to respond. And I should say that maybe Jillian might feel that I'm kind of singling her out a little bit. It's not just Jillian. So I get a lot of comments like this. It might be Bob, it might be Dave, it might be Barbara, it might be somebody else next week. But I want to try and give a little bit more context around one of my videos, which was about estrangement and how we can have a lot of conflicting emotions when we ask, or if we ask, for no contact from our family. So this is Jillian's comment. Whoa, do you realize how you have just completely contradicted yourself? You tell close family you need space, and then when they honor that request, you complain? No sense at all. People aren't mind readers, and you need to communicate exactly what it is that you do want. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you for that comment. And this is my response. So first of all, I would like to bring your attention to the name of this channel, which is called the Scapegoat Club. So the scapegoat refers to most often a child in a difficult, abusive, often narcissistic family unit that is singled out and targeted by the rest of the family members. The scapegoat is unfairly blamed, bullied, targeted, and abused. It can be physical, it can be sexual, it can be emotional, verbal, financial, or legal. It can be a lot of different types of abuse, but basically the point is that it is harmful and it creates long-term damage, plain and simple. And so that damage that harmful families cause on other family members can be things like anxiety, depression, PTSD, difficulties in relationships, difficulties in learning what our needs are, difficulties in communicating our needs. And so when you say we should clearly communicate our needs, I do have a little bit of an issue with that. And funnily enough, I also have another problem with this idea that family members are honoring our request when we ask them to not contact them by keeping silent. Perhaps this is just a linguistic thing. By honoring our request, you're just saying that they're doing what we say. But I personally have a really big challenge in putting the word honor in the same sentence, in the context of asking somebody who is abusing us to stop. I just don't like the word honor in that context. It has an implication that somehow they're doing the right thing by stopping harming us. I don't know, Jillian, I don't know, but I just have a lot of question marks around that. I'm also curious, I don't know if your comment is written to me specifically or the scapegoat community at large, because maybe you're thinking, okay, well, the scapegoat community I can get on board with, but you, Chess, no. For some reason, Chess, I have decided that even though I don't know you, I've never met you, I don't know anything about your story, I really don't know your family, I have decided that I don't see you as a scapegoat. Okay, well, that's cute, but let's roll with it. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to say that I am responding as the spokesperson of the Scapegoat Club, and I have admittedly appointed myself, but I'm going to put it out there that I'm talking in general, doing the best that I can to speak on behalf of adult children who have been abused by other family members and are still bearing the long-term scars of that abuse. So one of the scars that I mentioned is problems with relationship. And I want to get a bit more into the idea of trauma bonding. It's kind of like a cycle where we're in a relationship with someone who repeatedly pulls us in and then withdraws their affection. And so when we have this push-pull cycle and we add in emotional punishment and affection detachment into the mix, it really is the perfect recipe for psychological damage. So not having good relationship or communication skills after this, it's not a bad habit. It's actually a toxic cycle that is extremely difficult to break free of. And some people never do. So let's look back at this comment again. I'm actually hoping that at this point Jillian is saying, oh, you know what, Jess? Yeah, you're right. Actually, you know what? I did get it wrong. So let's give Jillian the respect to leave this conversation. But I want to come back to these types of comments because it is so important to call this out. We're talking about family estrangement that some people get to after decades and decades of abuse. And what we're saying is that after this lifetime of abuse, including this trauma bonding, that we think it's unreasonable that a scapegoat isn't very clear about communicating what they need when they go no contact. What these comments say is that, oh no, we want the person who's going no contact to have zero confusion, zero doubts, zero hesitation, no reservations around cutting off fundamental family relationship. There can be no wiggle room when we're setting these boundaries for the first time with the people in our lives who have absolutely stopped us from setting boundaries with them in the past. Is that really what we want to say here? So I want to break this down even more because it's important. Again, when we ask for no contact, when we say that's what we're going to do to a family member, we're choosing not to ghost them. We're choosing not to fade out of their lives. We're trying not to be that person. And if anything, we're probably making a big mistake by giving the other side a last-ditch opportunity to possibly change. So we could just leave, but because of the nature of the relationship, because we've been conditioned to put other people's needs and wants first, we end up still trying to communicate. But I guess I should say, if I'm being a spokesperson for the adult children, there are going to be some people who are like, you know what, Jess, no contact was exactly that. I said that was it. I closed the door, I walked away, and there were no loose ends. There was no mess. It was a see you later, I'm out of here. And it's almost like from the kind of comment that Jillian wrote, that would be preferable to some people, that it's better just to say, I'm gone, and then walk away and never come back. But it's also weird how I get so many comments for people saying that just walking away from a relationship is childish and it's selfish, and that doesn't work either. Interesting. Starting to feel like we can never win here. But anyway, for those of us who aren't completely black and white when we ask for no contact, perhaps I need to hammer down this point even more clearly. When we say we don't want contact, it's actually a kind of a final test. It's us saying, hey, are you really, really going to lose our relationship over this? Because that's where I am. I'm at the final hurdle. I've got nothing more to give. I've got no more cards to play. And this is my final act. Are you really going to let me walk away? Is this truly where we are? That is so often what is said when we say we're going no contact. And that's why it's so hard when we get radio silence and there's no response. And also, I'm going to add in, coming back to your comment, that I should clearly state my needs. I'm going to say that as a scapegoat, until relatively recently, I mean for pretty much 40-something years of my life, I didn't know that I had needs, let alone whatever the hell they were. So this suggestion that I should just simply recognize my needs and then clearly communicate them, and it's that easy? Yeah, right. I'll just put that on my to-do list then for next time. But no, of course I'm being sarcastic, because this is not a walk in the park. Scapegoats have spent our lives being told to actively ignore our needs. Or if they do come out, they're belittled or we're told that they're wrong. We have had people spend decades trying to actively disconnect us from what our needs truly are. And so this idea that one day I should just wake up and simply articulate my needs to the people who have been abusing me the whole time. Wow. And I should pull off this superhero-like level of communication whilst I'm still in this abusive relationship. Oh yeah, I am a real up for not being able to do that, aren't I? Okay, so I'm being facetious, but it's laughable, this idea that I should completely change my conditioning, the way I have been conditioned to have relationships my whole life. I should just change them overnight. That's impossible. And this idea that I'm weird, so just hold out the slightest bit of hope that when I say to people as fundamental as my parents that I'm at the end of my rope, I can't think of anything else, this is breaking me and I can't do this anymore. Is it that weird? Am I that strange a human being that when I say that to them and I get nothing back, that I'm a little bit crushed? Well, according to some, yeah, because there are also people who know what narcissism is like and still want to judge and say, hey, Chess, you're a scapegoat, you know they can't change. You are silly to think that they could. They think we shouldn't be disappointed in the way that these unhealthy people respond to our healthy requests. Yeah, logically, you're 100% right. I shouldn't expect the changes, but there's a little part of me that still does. And anyway, that's my 2 cents. And as for the comment, Jillian, I am going to say genuinely thank you. Thank you for letting me think this through. I also really hope that this video might give you a different perspective on things. And if it doesn't, and you're like, nope, I'm 100% down, I still think that you're a screw up for thinking the way you do, well then, okay, then you have my answer. Friends, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. Please take care of yourselves. If you're dealing with people who want to judge you around your estrangement choices, then please, if you can take anything from this video or my experience, it's knowing that people who want to judge don't have a clue. They haven't spent any time in your situation. And if they have, then that judgment, they would just know that that judgment has no place and that they don't understand. So wherever you are, from my heart to yours, please take care. And I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now.